Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredibly vast timeline of early humanity right in the Indian subcontinent. We're going to look at exactly how our ancestors, leveled up over millions of years. Going from absolute scratch to building complex territorial empires. It's a truly fascinating journey of sheer human ingenuity. To really get a grip on our origins, we have to completely let go of written records. Just put yourself in their shoes for a second. What did it actually take to survive some of the most punishing, unpredictable environments on Earth? Literally without a single manual, blueprint, or written word? How did early humans adapt, survive, and eventually thrive? We're going to track this incredible tech tree chronologically across 5 stages: decoding prehistory, the Old Stone Age, the climate shift, the agricultural revolution, and finally, the Metal Ages. Part 1. Decoding Prehistory. So, the crucial thing to understand here is that prehistory is an incredibly unique era. It's totally distinct from proto-history, where we have deciphered scripts, and standard history, which relies on written texts. In the prehistoric age, our ancestors left 0 written records. None. Our only storytellers are ancient stones, discarded bones, faded rock art, and buried fossils. This basically means archaeologists have to act like detectives, relying purely on the physical artifacts left behind in the dirt to piece together literally millions of years of human existence. Part 2. The Old Stone Age. The sheer scale of the Old Stone Age is just mind-boggling. It's a massive, massive timeline divided into the lower, middle, and upper Paleolithic phases. During this time, early ancestors, like the Homo erectus found in the Narmada Valley, which, by the way, is the oldest hominin fossil in India, slowly refined unpolished quartzite tools. They were nomadic hunter-gatherers, living in caves, and just slowly figuring out how to shape the world around them. And looking at the geographic spread, you can see how different regions developed entirely different tech paths just to survive. Down in central and southeastern India, the Acheulean culture dominated, utilizing hand axes and cleavers. But up in the northwest, the Sohanian culture developed a completely different toolkit, confining themselves primarily to choppers and chopping tools. It really shows how early human adaptation was highly localized to specific terrains. But it wasn't all just about raw survival and striking stones together. These ancient people developed incredible cognitive abilities. At sites like Bhimbetka in central India, we find 35,000-year-old rock paintings. And they weren't just painting animals to hunt, either. They depicted real emotional scenes, like a mother and child, and men and women dancing. It's absolute proof that human narratives, art, and complex social bonds began tens of thousands of years before the first word was ever written down. Part 3. The climate shift. Then, everything changes. As global warming melted the ice at the end of the Pleistocene, bringing a warmer, wetter climate, humans had to adapt, and fast. The flora and fauna totally changed. Those heavy stone axes, no longer effective for hunting the new, smaller, and faster game. So humans actually shrunk their toolkit down, inventing tiny, razor-sharp stone tools called microliths. This was a real game changer because it allowed them to become highly mobile and occupy brand new ecozones, everywhere from coastal dunes to dense forests. At this point, we really start seeing evidence of how deeply human culture was evolving, specifically through intentional burials. At sites like Mahardaha in Uttar Pradesh, archaeologists found a man and a woman buried together, accompanied by precious grave goods like an ivory pendant. Taking the time to bury the dead with valuables strongly suggests emerging belief systems, maybe even an idea of an afterlife, and for sure, a much stronger, emotionally interconnected community. Part 4. The Agricultural Revolution. The Neolithic Revolution spread across the subcontinent like wildfire. This is the monumental moment where people finally stopped wandering as pure nomads. They began building permanent, settled villages, with key sites popping up, like Mehergarh in the northwest or Burzahom in the Kashmir Valley. This shift completely redefined what human existence looked like. And the secret to why they could finally settle down? Domestication. By cultivating wheat and barley and domesticating cattle, sheep, and goats, humans created surplus food for the very first time. With that surplus, society could finally support much larger populations. This paved the way for permanent architecture. We're talking mud houses in Mehergarh and unique pit dwellings to escape the cold up in Kashmir, as well as the invention of pottery, which they desperately needed to store all that extra grain. Now, here's a crazy fact. Progress always comes with a cost, right? This new agricultural diet of ground grains brought about a brand new human problem: dental cavities. To combat this, humans actually invented incredibly precise dentistry. Excavations at Merguer show human molars drilled with tiny flint tools a staggering 9,000 years ago. That's right, Neolithic surgeons were performing cavity treatments millennia before metal instruments even existed. No way, right? Part 5. The Metal Ages. As you'd expect, the discovery of metal completely changed the rules of the game. First came the Chalcolithic period, where early Indians blended their stone tools with their very first metal, copper. This led to fortified settlements and way more advanced crafts. But the true revolution? That was the Iron Age. Iron was significantly harder and much more abundant. With iron axes, tribes could finally clear the dense, stubborn forests of the Ganges Valley. And with iron weapons, warfare became far more devastating. This metal mastery wasn't just a technological leap, it completely rewired society. We see this massive transition from simple tribal lineages, known as janas, into huge, highly structured territorial states called janapadas. Social classes hardened based on occupation. Down in South India, distinct megalithic cultures emerged, marked by elaborate urn and pit burials. Meanwhile, in the north, powerful kings began asserting absolute dominance over vast territories through grand rituals like the Ashwamedha, or horse sacrifice. It literally took millions of years of grinding, brilliant survival to unlock these complex territorial societies from nothing but unpolished stone. Which leaves us with one massive, fascinating question. Having mastered agriculture, built fortified states, and established deep social hierarchies, how fast will the world change the moment these powerful new states finally learn how to write down their history? That marks the end of prehistory and the dawn of a whole new era. Thanks for exploring this ancient tech tree with me in today's Explainer.